Gentle vibes, gentle vibes, and all, the love. So, I'm Nini, and this is Whispers for your heart, and tingles for your soul. So for today's video, as it has written on the title, down below, I'm going to do a storytelling. Maybe I have this short story, I guess. I don't know what is this called. Oh, it's a novel. And the title is Around the World in 80 Days. I'm not gonna read all of the book, like the whole book, but this will be a series, so I'm going to finish it. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but yep. Basically, it's a series that I'm gonna continue when I remember. Okay, no worries. I'm going to finish it, don't worry. And the title is Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. Actually, to be honest, this is my book when I was in foundation year. And this book is for my I cannot remember the code, but it is for language. Is it? I can't remember. Anyways, it's fine. Let's just start the video, okay? Should we read the introduction, but guys, I guess so, so that you guys gonna see like what's going to be in the story, okay? Introduction by Bear Grylls. Around the world in 80 days has to be the most crazy, daring, and impossible adventure you will ever read, and its hero, the mysterious Phileas Fogg, that's the main character, is surely the coolest guy in the world of English literature. Oh, okay, I just remembered. It's English literature, so this book is for my literature course, but it's an elective. It was an elective course, so yeah. And I don't like this course, anyways. Okay, continue. Phileas Fogg is a ruthless perfectionist, handsome and rich, a man who lives his orderly life by the clock and is always right. One evening during a debate at his exclusive gentleman's club about the length of time it would take to travel around the world, Fox says it could be achieved in 80 days, and to prove it, he bets his entire fortune of euro 20,000 euro dollar, which is approximately 1.6 million British pounds or 2.5 million US dollars in today's money. With no time to lose, Fogg and his young French manservant Passepartout leave London on 2 October 1872, telling his gobsmacked friend that he will see them all back at the club on Saturday, 21 December at 8:45 p.m. precisely. You can imagine that long before the days of high-speed travel, not to mention that now of mobile phones and instant messaging, this is no easy challenge. But Fogg plans every stage of the trip situation, using every bit of his ingenuity and cunning to the very end. Even when things don't quite go to plan, he never panics or shows his emotions. But we do get to see a different side of to Fox's character when he risks losing everything, even his own life, to save Passepartout, whose youthful curiosity lands him in trouble on more than one occasion. Around the World in 80 Days is not only a fantastic journey filled with exotic locations, cultures, and suspense, it is also a story about loyalty and friendship, and the rewards these can bring. When I first read it as a lad, I saw a world filled with excitement, tension, adventure, and above all, possibilities. It gave me a great sense of the vast, diverse nature of our planet, and I wanted to go out there and discover it all for myself. It fostered in me my love of exploration and showed me that with the right skills and the courage of my convictions, I would be able to survive all kinds of challenges. Maybe you too will draw inspiration from this amazing adventure and go on to see and do great things. So, do you think the eccentric Phileas Fogg makes it to London in time to win his bet? Rate it on, and I'm sure, like me, you'll be on the edge of your seat right up to the very last page. Chapter 1, in which Phileas Fogg and Passepartout is a chapter. No. Page 1, in which Phileas Fogg and Passepartout accept each other, the one as master, the one as man, the other as man. Mr. Phileas Fogg lived in 1872 at number 7 Savile Row, Burlington Gardens, the house in which Sheridan died in 1814. He was one of the most noticeable members of the Reform Club, though he seemed always to avoid attracting attention, an enigmatical personage about whom little was known except that he was a polished man of the world. People say that he resembled Byron, at least that his head was Byronic, but he was a bearded, tranquil Byron, who might live on 1,000 years without growing old. Suddenly, an Englishman, it was more doubtful whether Phileas Fogg was a Londoner. He was never seen on 'Change, nor at the bank, nor in the counting rooms of the city. No ships ever came into London docks of which he was the owner. He had no public employment. He had never been entered at any of the Inns of Court, either at the Temple or Lincoln's Inn or Gray's Inn, nor had his voice ever sounded in the Court of Chancery or in the Exchequer or the Queen's Bench or the ecclesiastical courts. He certainly was not a manufacturer, nor was he a merchant or a gentleman farmer. His name was strange to the scientific and learned societies, and he never was known to take part in the state deliberation of the Royal Institution or the London Institution or the Artisans' Association or the Institution of Arts and Sciences. He belonged, in fact, to none of the numerous societies which swarm in the English capital, from the harmonic to that of the entomologist, founded mainly for the purpose of abolishing pernicious insects. Phileas Fogg was a member of the Reform, and that was all. The way in which he got admission to this exclusive club was simple enough. He was recommended by the Barings, with whom he had an open credit. His checks were regularly paid at his side from his account current, which was always flush. Was Phileas Fogg rich? Undoubtedly, but those who knew him best could not imagine how he had made his fortune, and Mr. Fogg was the last person to whom to apply for the information lavish nor, on the contrary, avaricious. For whenever he knew that money was needed for a noble, useful, or benevolent purpose, he supplied it quietly and sometimes anonymously. He was, in short, the least communicative of men. He talked very little and seemed all the more mysterious for his taciturn manner. His daily habits were quite open to real observation, but whatever he did was so exactly the same thing that he always done before, that the wits of the curious were fairly puzzled. Had he traveled, it was likely, for no one seemed to know the world more familiarly. There was no spot so secluded that he did not appear to have an intimate acquaintance with it. He often corrected, with a few clear words, the thousand conjectures advanced by members of the club as to lost and unheard of travelers, pointing out the true probabilities and seeming as if gifted with a sort of second sight. So often did events justify his predictions. He must have travelled everywhere, at least in the spirit. It was at least certain that Phileas Fogg had not absented himself from London for many years. Those who were honoured by a better acquaintance with him than the rest declared that nobody could pretend to have ever seen him anywhere else. His sole pastimes were reading the papers and playing whist. He often won at this game, which, as a silent one, harmonized with his nature, but his winnings never went into his purse, being reserved as a fund for his charities. Mr. Fogg played not to win, but for the sake of playing. The game was in his eyes a contest, a struggle with difficulty, yet emotionless, unwearying struggle continued to his days. Phileas Fogg was not known to have either wife or children, which may happen to be to the most honest people, either relatives or near friends, which is certainly more unusual. He lived alone in his house in Savile Row with none penetrated. A single domestic sufficed to serve him. He breakfasted and dined at the club at hours mathematically fixed, in the same room at the same table, never taking his meal with other members, much less bringing a guest with him, and went home exactly at midnight, only to retire at once to bed. He never used the cozy chambers which the reform provides for its favourite members. He passed 10 hours of the 24 in Savile Row, either sleeping or making his toilet. When he chose to take a walk, it was with a regular step in the entrance hall with its mosaic flooring, or in the circular gallery with its dome spotted by 20 red porphyry ionic columns and illumined by blue painted windows. When he breakfasted or dined, all the resources of the club, its kitchens and pantries, its buttery and dairy, aided to crowd his table with their most succulent stores. He was served by the gravest waiters in dress coats and shoes with swan skin soles, who proffered defiance in special porcelain, and on the finest linen. The club decanters of a lost mould contained his sherry, his port, and his cinnamon spice claret, while his beverages were refreshingly cooled with ice brought at great cost from the American lakes. If to live in this style is to be eccentric, it must be confessed that there is something good in eccentricity. The mansion in Savile Row, though not sumptuous, was exceedingly comfortable. The habit of its occupant was such as to demand but little from the sole domestic. But Phileas Fogg required Mr. Fogg would, according to his daily habit, quit several rows and repair to the reformer. A rap at this moment sounded on the door of the cozy apartment where Phileas Fogg was seated, and James Foster and the dismissed servant appeared. The new servant, said he, a young man of 30, advanced and bold. "You're a Frenchman, I believe?" asked Phileas Fogg, "and your name is John." So guys, that will be all for today session for the storytelling. For the Around the World in 80 Days, I'm gonna continue it some days later. I don't know when it's going to be continued, but based on my mood, I guess. I don't know, but I've lost a lot of breath due to my not so fast-paced reading, because I'm trying to catch up with the time. So yeah, remember, this is whispers for your heart and tingles, tingle, 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 tingle for your soul. If you like this video, if you like this series, don't forget to leave feedback or comment or suggestion in the comment section. I'm so sorry for any misspoken words. So bye. If you guys don't like this series, I'm not gonna continue it. Okay, so if there is 200 likes, maybe, or I don't know, just I'm gonna, it will be based on your comment and feedback. Okay, so bye.